The tactical layout of the Marvel Cinematic Universe has officially entered its most volatile phase yet, with Captain America: Brave New World finally hitting home media and streaming channels after an absolute whirlwind of massive script rewrites, extensive multi-million-dollar reshoots, and a production lifecycle that essentially mirrored the length of shooting a whole other film. Showrunner Julius Onah and Marvel Studios have dropped a complex, asymmetric narrative hybrid onto the board. Bypassing the standard sequential lines of Phase 5, this film forces a deep cover collision between two completely different cinematic architectures. The first half executes a gritty, espionage-heavy sleeper agent spy thriller. The second fully unleashes a global threat Hulk blockbuster. Today, we are executing an absolute 5-star forensic wipe-down of the movie's mechanical blueprints, parsing why Sam Wilson explicitly rejects the Super Soldier Serum to rely on elite Wakandan aerospace engineering, decoding the biochemical transformation of Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross into the Red Hulk, and tracking the structural return of Samuel Stern's mind-controlling spy network. 1. The Human Shield. Why Sam Wilson defies the physics of the serum. The absolute anchor of the film's thematic thesis loops straight back to the foundational choice Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, made during the climax of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, operating as Captain America without a single drop of the Super Soldier Serum running through his veins. The non-serum aerospace loop. Action: the human vulnerability. Sam absorbs raw kinetic damage, knife wounds, and severe dropkick impacts. Guide: Sam absorbs raw kinetic damage, knife wounds, and severe dropkick impacts. The action: the Wakandan Vanguard. Advanced Vibranium wing stabilizers redirect shockwaves to absorb 100% of landing forces. While purists frequently bust Sam's chops for remaining a silly human by choice, his unpolished vulnerability is exactly what makes his tenure in the uniform so incredibly noble. During the frantic, high-velocity aerial dogfights surrounding the emerging celestial corpse, Sam absorbs an immense amount of physical punishment, trucking through knife and hatchet stab wounds, concussive dropkicks, and shrapnel grazing. The engineering reason Sam doesn't instantly turn into a pile of squishy biological goop when executing a hard, zero-break shockwave landing comes down entirely to his Wakandan Aerospace Vanguard suit. Woven from pristine vibranium threads, a material stronger than steel but boasting a mere third of its physical weight, roughly mirroring a standard 12-pound gallon of paint, the suit's wing infrastructure features real-time kinetic redirection dampeners. When Sam executes a no-look tactical drop, the wings automatically deploy a localized force field, transferring the energy straight into the environment rather than his breakable skeletal system. He doesn't need Steve Rogers' muscle mass to retrieve the shield via a stomp retrieval method. He relies on raw human focus, elite body mechanics, and an intelligent, armed Red Wing drone that covers his six like an autonomous guardian angel. 2. Chekhov's Pharmacy, the biochemical blueprint of the Red Hulk. Concurrently, the political landscape of the overworld handles the terrifying medical transformation of the newly elected president, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford. The prologue utilizes a classic piece of auditory misdirection, layering a heavy ringing sound in Ross's ears to mimic standard head-of-state health complications. The thorium-233 radioactive matrix, gamma radioisotope pill ingestion, thorium-233 beta decay, unsanitized feral Red Hulk instantiation. The clinical data behind Ross's condition unmasks a deep-cover, top-secret biochemical protocol. To bypass his failing physical baseline without alerting the global media, Ross has been systematically ingesting highly specialized gamma radiation capsules developed via a thorium-233 radioactive matrix. In real-world nuclear metrics, thorium-233 possesses a brief high-alert half-life of roughly 22 minutes before it undergoes a beta decay cycle into protactinium-233, eventually settling over 27 days into uranium-233. By utilizing this hyper-precise radioactive pharmacy, Samuel Stearns manually engineered Ross's cellular biology to store immense gamma heat power. Captain America: Brave New World, Kinetic and Political Ledger. Faction: Vanguard. Performer: Actor. Active weaponry asset. Core third act cinematic milestone. Current tactical status. Sam Wilson. Anthony Mackie. Vibranium shield or Red Wing. Executes an elite mid-air wing stab to neutralize incoming missiles. Active Captain America provides a human anchor for the country to aspire to. Thaddeus Ross, Harrison Ford. Feral Red Hulk physiology. Executes a massive, devastating thunderclap inside the Cherry Blossom Basin. Incarcerated. Accepts his cell sentence inside the raft. Joaquin Torres, Danny Ramirez. Upgraded Falcon wings. Completes a high-velocity aerial spin tick under Sam's guidance. Fully integrated as the official frontline escort lieutenant. Samuel Stearns, Tim Blake Nelson. Non-comic brain mutation. Hacks global military files to orchestrate a multiversal trap. Apprehended, his cybernetic mind control arrays permanently shattered. When the trigger code is officially thrown, the president's signature look undergoes a catastrophic, unsanitized metamorphosis. Harrison Ford beautifully executed the motion capture sessions, allowing the digital animators to perfectly translate his signature arrogant get-off-my-plane snarl straight onto the Red Hulk's jawline. The entity runs incredibly hot, manually igniting fuel tanks on pure physical contact and turning falling cherry blossom petals into instant ash. The definitive narrative proof that Ross successfully tames the beast during the film's climax occurs when he cleanly catches a single delicate pink petal in his giant hand without scorching it, proving he has achieved total cognitive equilibrium over his feral gamma output, right before resigning his office to accept a dubious legal sentence inside the raft. 3. The Boomer Logic Trap, the leader's mind control syndicate. The hidden mastermind pulling the strings behind the entire international military crisis is none other than Samuel Stearns, aka the leader. Draped in clever, low-key lighting tricks and green-glowing optical shadows to conceal his massive, hyper-mutated gross brain head architecture, Stearns operates under a cold, hyper-confident criminal philosophy: I'm the hero. The leader's bureaucratic honeypot, hacking global military files, mind-controlling Isaiah Bradley, orchestrating a multiversal doomsday trigger. Stearns targets the inherent technological ignorance of the overworld administration, exploiting what Sam Wilson hilariously brands as pure boomer logic, the institutional belief that because a villain can execute mind control, they can automatically hack encrypted digital files through magic. Using deep cover technology acquired during his historic encounters with the Hulk, Stearns constructs an impenetrable psychological trap. He implants an unsanitized telepathic trigger inside the brain of the unjustly imprisoned super soldier legend Isaiah Bradley, forcing the veteran into a high-alert automated assassination attempt against President Ross during a global fundraiser. The incursion alignment continuum, Adamantium distribution conflict, systemic institutional corruption, the multiversal doomsday threshold. This assassination plot is a masterfully calculated piece of bait designed to draw Sam Wilson into a fixed geopolitical bottleneck. Stearns doesn't merely want to liquidate the White House. His macro objective centers on the global distribution of adamantium, a newly unearthed, physics-defying metal harvested directly from the frozen skull of the Celestial. By triggering a massive multi-front war between Sam's street-level defense teams and Giancarlo Esposito's lethal blue-eyed Serpent Society enforcers, Sidewinder and Volkov, Stearns systematically drives the global superpowers into a state of total structural paranoia. He counts on humanity's absolute inability to see the good in one another to fracture the global defense networks, flawlessly constructing the exact chaotic baseline required to slide the timeline straight into the impending multiversal collapse of Avengers Doomsday. 4. Bucky's verdict, a generational handoff. Ultimately, the emotional core of Brave New World anchors itself to a quiet, deeply nostalgic bedroom sequence tracking the formal return of Bucky Barnes.